It started with a smile. Not the kind you give out of politeness or that half-lip twitch you throw a stranger when you accidentally make eye contact. This one was different. This smile lingered. It watched. And it knew. The first time I noticed it was on a random Saturday in mid-July. Hot, sticky, the kind of heat that melts the air into syrup. I just pulled up to Aaron's house, his cracked basketball sitting alone on the front porch like it had been waiting for someone to care again. We hadn't played in months. Not since school ended. Not since we started growing out of the playground and into the real world. Aaron's mom, Natalie, opened the door. She always looked good, like she didn't even have to try. Her hair was that perfect kind of messy, like she'd just stepped out of a shampoo commercial, and she had this way of wearing a simple t-shirt like it was designed by a Paris runway designer. But today, she looked at me like she hadn't seen me before. Like she really saw me. "Hey, Eli," she said, leaning against the doorframe. Her voice had that husky softness, like a lullaby that stayed just between your ears. "Aaron's in his room." And then came the smile that it held for too long. Long enough to make my stomach twist, not from discomfort exactly, but from something I couldn't place at the time. It wasn't flirtation, not the obvious kind. It was curiosity. Possibility. Something more dangerous than either. I nodded awkwardly and stepped past her. Her perfume hit me right in the chest, sweet and sharp, like citrus cut with something darker underneath. Vanilla and warning. Aaron's room was its usual mess of comic books and video game cases, the fan humming from the corner doing its best to fight the heat. We played for a few hours, cracked jokes, talked trash, and killed digital monsters. But somewhere between level-ups and pizza rolls, I noticed her again. Watching. From the hallway. Just a flicker. A shadow that leaned too long. A footstep that paused before walking away. Later that night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. That look. That smile. It echoed. And like any 17-year-old dumb enough to mistake attention for affection, I started wondering, what if, over the next few weeks, it happened again? More often. That smile when she opened the door. A laugh that leaned too long into my space. Once, I was grabbing a Coke from the kitchen and she brushed past me, close. Too close. Her hand lingered on my back for just a second longer than necessary. "It wasn't an accident, you boys staying out of trouble?" she asked, voice playful. Aaron didn't even look up from his phone. Always. But her eyes never left mine. There was something in them. Fireflies in a storm. Something flashing too quickly to catch but impossible to ignore. I didn't tell Aaron. What could I say? "Hey man, I think your mom's into me" isn't exactly a conversation starter. And the thing is, I wasn't even sure if I believed it. Not fully. Not then. But I knew something was off. One night, Aaron and I were chilling in the basement, lights dim, a horror movie playing in the background while we half watched and half scrolled through our phones. Around midnight, he passed out, snoring soft on the beanbag. I went upstairs to grab water and maybe take a piss before crashing to. Natalie was in the kitchen, wearing a robe, and nothing else. Or at least that's what it looked like. She turned around slowly, a glass of wine in her hand, eyes sleepy but alert. "Can't sleep?" I shook my head, trying not to stare. "Just thirsty." "There's water in the fridge." I moved to the fridge like it was a crime scene. Kept my eyes low. Heart thumping like a drum solo in my ears. When I turned back, she was closer. "You've grown up a lot this year," she said. I froze. Used to be just Aaron's little friend. Now, she took a sip of wine. "You've filled out." I don't remember what I said. Probably something stupid. Something mumbled. But I remember her hand, just brushing my arm, featherlight. Like it wasn't supposed to mean anything. Like it meant everything. After that night, I tried to avoid being alone around her. But it got harder. She found ways. Aaron would run to the store, or take a long shower, or disappear for 10 minutes while she found me, always conveniently in the hallway, or in the kitchen, or sitting outside pretending to enjoy the sun. One day she brought up how she and Aaron's dad had separated 2 years ago. Casual. Like it slipped into conversation by mistake. "I don't miss him," she said, staring into her coffee like it held secrets. "He never really saw me. You know? I nodded. Said nothing. I didn't know. But I knew enough to pretend. Then she started texting me. It started harmless memes. Funny TikToks. A photo of her cat sitting like a human on the couch, then one day, a mirror selfie. Just her. Tight black dress. The caption, too much. I didn't respond. She followed up, don't worry, not for you. Got a date tonight, winky face. I didn't believe her, but I should have, because a few days later, everything changed. Aaron wasn't at school. Wasn't answering texts that I swung by his place after class. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Natalie answered the door. Barefoot. Hair down. Tank top. He's not here, she said, sipping from a glass of something amber. Where is he? Out. With someone, I think. You want to wait? I hesitated. She stepped aside. I went in. The couch was littered with pillows and a half-folded blanket. A candle was lit. It smelled like cinnamon and secrets. She sat on the couch, patted the spot next to her. I won't bite. She smiled. I stood. I'll just text him, I said, pulling out my phone. She reached forward and put her hand on my wrist. I think you like the attention, she said quietly. Don't you? My throat dried. The air thickened. Before I could answer, the front door slammed. Aaron was back. He saw her. Saw me, saw the space between us. Something shifted in his face. Like glass cracking. Yo, he said, voice tight. Hey, I croaked, stepping back. I was just waiting. He didn't say anything. Just looked at his mom. Then at me, and walked straight past us. That night, I got a message, from a private number, ***, stay away from her, ***, no name. No context. Just those 5 words sitting there like a trap, like something you could either ignore or fall straight into. I knew who it was from. I didn't need confirmation. Aaron had seen something, or maybe he'd just sensed it. The tension. The proximity. The silence that wasn't really silence. I didn't reply. I couldn't. The next morning, he wasn't at school again, and when I walked through the hallways, I felt it. The weight. Like people were watching me even if they weren't. Like something was waiting to drop. At lunch, I finally texted him, you good? No answer. That night, I couldn't sleep. My room was too quiet. My head too loud. I kept thinking about her. Her eyes. Her voice. That moment in the kitchen when she got close enough for me to feel her breath. But worse than that, I kept thinking about Aaron. His face when he walked in. Like betrayal had a smell and it was choking him. Around 1 a.m., I got another message, you don't know what she's like. This time, I replied, what do you mean? Read. No response. The next day, I went to his house again. Couldn't stop myself. It was like a magnet pulling me into a storm. When I knocked, I half hoped no one would answer, but she did. Natalie, barefoot again. Tight leggings. An oversized sweatshirt that slipped off one shoulder like it had no respect for boundaries. You look tired, she said, brushing her hair back. Is Aaron home? She paused for a moment. Just enough to make me suspicious. He went to stay with his dad for a while, she said. I blinked. Since when? Yesterday. Bullshit. I saw his bike in the garage. His shoes by the door. Did he tell you that? She asked, voice softer now. Almost a whisper. That I was the problem? I didn't say anything. She stepped closer. Eli, she said, you can talk to me. I know it's confusing, but he's not being fair. He gets so jealous. So possessive. I took a step back. Should go. She didn't move to stop me. Just tilted her head. I'm not the villain, Eli. But the thing is, she wasn't acting like a villain, she was acting like the victim, and somehow, that was worse. When I got home, I tried to find Aaron. I called. Texted. Searched his socials. Nothing. No activity. No posts. His last Insta story was a week ago, a photo of his dog with the caption, lazy day. I messaged him again, talk to me, man. Please. No reply. The next day, I stayed after school and asked Mr. Garrison, our counselor, if he'd heard from Aaron. He looked uncomfortable. He's taking some time off, he said carefully. Family stuff. Is he okay? He nodded too fast that I didn't believe him either. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about that smile. The way she'd touched me. The robe. The glass of wine. The way she spoke like we were in some secret together. Like Aaron didn't exist when she looked at me. Then I remembered something. Aaron's room had an old camcorder. We used to shoot dumb videos with it for a YouTube channel that never took off. It had a massive SD card. He used to leave it on when we played video games, hoping to catch something viral. What if it had been on? What if it had recorded that night in the basement, when he walked in on me and his mom? I had to find it. The next day, I went back. This time, the door was unlocked. She wasn't home. That I waited until I was sure, checking every room, every shadow. The house was too quiet. No candles. No perfume. Upstairs, Aaron's door creaked open like a mouth trying to warn me. Everything was still there: shoes, backpack, phone charger. He hadn't left. Not willingly. I found the camcorder in the bottom drawer of his desk, under a bunch of old socks and a cracked screen protector. The SD card was still inside. I pocketed it and left without making a sound. Back home, I plugged it into my laptop and started digging through the footage. Most of it was what I expected. Us gaming, laughing, talking trash. Aaron yelling at lag spikes. Random junk. Then I found a file dated 3 days ago. It was about 20 minutes long. At first, just static, then it clicked on. There I was, walking into the basement. The horror movie was playing in the background. Aaron was on his beanbag. I could see myself fidgeting, scrolling, pacing. Then going upstairs. I watched the screen like it was someone else's life. Then came the part that made my blood turn to stone. After I left, about 5 minutes passed. The screen stayed focused on Aaron, asleep. Then Natalie appeared. She stood at the top of the stairs, watching him sleep. Just watching, for almost 2 whole minutes. Then she turned, walked back upstairs. End of video. I didn't understand. Why record it? Why keep it? And why did it feel like a warning? I barely slept that night. Every noise outside my window made me flinch. Every creak in the walls felt like footsteps. The next morning, there was a note on my windshield, just a piece of lined paper, folded once. She lies. She always lies. No name. I didn't need one. That day, I didn't go to school. I went to the cops, told them I thought my friend was missing, told them I hadn't seen him in days and that something felt wrong. They listened. Took my statement. Asked questions, but without evidence. There wasn't much they could do. He's probably just taking a break, the officer said. A break, sure, but what about the texts, the look on his face, the camcorder? I didn't mention Natalie. Something in me didn't trust the cops to believe me. Or maybe I was scared they would. That night, I snuck back into the house. I waited until the lights went out, waited longer, just to be sure. I crept around the back, used the loose board under the deck to slip inside. Aaron's room first. Still untouched. Then the hallway, her room. The door was half open. Inside, moonlight spilled across the bed, and there, on the floor, was his phone. Aaron's phone. I stepped inside, slowly. That's when I saw it. On the dresser. A photo. Of me, printed out, folded in half, lips creased right through the middle, and behind it, a journal. Open to a page. In tiny, looping handwriting. He understands me. He sees me. He won't leave like the others. I backed away, but the floor creaked, and the closet door creaked open. She was there, eyes wide, breathing fast. Eli, she whispered. I didn't want you to see it like this.